Hi, good evening, chosen ones. Happy fall equinox, happy full moon. I Today is a video that I want to talk about people that advice for people who grew up in abusive households. I wanted to say that if you grew up in an abusive household, whether it was overtly abusive or covertly abusive, where people couldn't really tell and it was more emotional or mental abuse. Uh, I just wanted to say that everything that you've ever been taught or learned and how you've learned to live is a lie. If you haven't already figured this out, I'm just here to clarify because you might need to hear this. Um, everything that, every way that you lived is a total lie. And basically passed on to you by generational demons that either your parents or the other people in your family uh, didn't have the wherewithal to really work on themselves and expel those demons from their lives or figure out what they were doing. They were probably abused in their life, and now they're passing that shit on to you. And you know what? That's not cool. You can understand maybe where they're coming from or why they act like they act, but there's no excuse for it, and there's no reason to put up with that. Or to have that behavior in your life. And we're talking that's normal. A lot of us have become empaths or highly sensitive because the abuser that couldn't handle their emotions or couldn't control their anger and their emotions and would take it out on those weaker than them or those closest to them. Uh, we were walking on eggshells. We were worrying about everyone else's needs besides us. A lot of us, became fixers because we realized we're smarter than them, and we have a better handle on it, and we feel like we need to fix everything, but we don't. That's not our job. Our job is to worry about our own lives and be the best we can be, and they're taking even more energy away from us because we're trying to fix their problems. So, I mean, this is a big topic. We could talk about it for a while, but I just wanted anyone who's dealing with this to realize that everything you've learned is a lie, and to do not feel bad about cutting people out or putting strong boundaries with people. In fact, it's your duty to do this to yourself. Your life is not going to change unless and it's going to upset people because a lot of the people that are in your life, uh, even uh, you're in codependent relationships, or they're giving you something because they want something back, or they like control, um, or they're using you as a whipping post or trash can or something like that, basket case, and that's got to end. So for a while, once you awaken more and once you start healing, you're gonna notice like every single freaking person in your life, like your best friends, like people that you didn't really think, were harmful before, but you're gonna start to notice things, and you're like, wow, like that vindictive bitch, or like this person was trying to either manipulate me or make or guilt me or in competition with me secretly. And downplaying any accomplishments or talents or skills that I have or may have worked for to make themselves feel better. And most of us are such good people. We're humble and we're like, oh, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, even though you might have worked hard for this your whole life or had a special talent at something. And these people love to downplay that. A lot of times it's people's, especially abusive people, situations, their parents. Um, and, just be aware of that and don't internalize it. Um, and so a lot of people's parents, if they don't heal, they're going to stay this way and they're going to get worse as they get older. And they're going to be, try to be even more mentally abusive and grab whatever control they have to make you feel bad, to diminish your accomplishments in your career. um, and I mean, it's basically like they're getting body snatched, or they have this demon in them that they have never cast out, or they won't come to terms with. And it is just, it's illogical. I mean, when I'm around a certain parent, like sometimes if she's upset or she's uh, like emotionally upset about something, she's that abusive monster will come out and will blame me for something that's not even my fault, and then try to make me feel bad. And it's like, I don't know if it's anger, like her own anger, she's just trying to get out, or she's jealous and she doesn't want me to succeed because she hasn't succeeded past a certain point. I don't know what it is, but it's like they want to drive you into the ground. And I used to let them do it. I mean, I realized, like, when you're, especially if you're a little kid and you're before the age where you're, believing in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, you don't even have a grasp of reality in this world. Even though that's even another subject. Reality is pretty wide open of what it could be now. But when you're little and you're impressionable, and somebody's blaming you for something or using you as a scapegoat or a whipping post, or just to make themselves feel better and more powerful, you're gonna believe it. You're gonna be like, man, I must be worthless, or this must be my fault. I can't control this. Like, what's going on? And then, like, it takes years. Some people never realize that, hey, that was a lie. That was a lie that was put into your head when you were little, and you are worthy. And you're playing this out in all of your relationships. Like, usually, like, if it's a parent that was doing this to you, um, relationships with your bosses, with your best friends, there's the mother wound and the father wound you have to deal with. And there's abandonment issues. There's neglect. There's just abuse and things you need to consider in all your relationships in life. And if you find that playing out in other people, you need to set boundaries, distance yourself, and or cut them off immediately. And also start doing your affirmations and realize that you are worthy, of your incantations. You got to believe it to the core of your being, because these are just total outright bold-faced lies. And in my situation, I had an abusive mother who was abused in the past, and she just does not have good control over her emotions. And then I had an enabling father, and nobody would listen to me if I needed help or try to change the situation. So it made me feel like my feelings don't matter and my feelings aren't important, and I must not be important myself, because nobody seems to give a shit, that this is going on. And this is played out in my life, and I've realized this, and I'm happy. I haven't brought other beings into this world. I'd like to help other kids or something, maybe, if I have the chance. But I want to make sure I don't repeat those cycles, or I'm totally in a comfortable situation where I can be willing, be happy to give and have full time to give the person the nurturing and the guidance that they need, because you don't want these situations. It's not fair to somebody else to bring somebody else into this world. If you can help it, sometimes things are just meant to happen, and they happen. But we need to make sure that we stop these cycles and heal these cycles. And if we keep getting stuck in them, it's because we're supposed to learn how to deal with it, how to set boundaries. And the biggest thing, and I've had to learn lately, is not to internalize their, just deep insults or abuse. Like, when I was younger, it was physical and emotional and mental. But, like, as I got older, it would just turn into mental and emotional. And I was no contact for a while, and actually that's when things started to get better, and I started to get more respect when I was no contact. And then I had things happen, and weird events, or events where you're put in a situation where you need to take care of them more. And I've been in a situation where it's like, oh wow, I'm trying everything I can, and I can't really get out of this. And if you feel like you can't, you're stuck in a situation, like a lot of times it's because I think you're supposed to learn to be more resilient to these types of people and this type of abuse, and learn to, like, not to let it bounce off of you and not internalize it at all. Like as I've gotten older and I've had to deal with my mother who can be abusive, but she also can be a great person, and she's got good in her, but she's got this, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde side. The Mr. Hyde comes out sometimes. It's just like a horrible monster that's trying to drive me into the ground and make me feel horrible about myself for absolutely no reason. And then, now that I'm adult, I can see it. Like, wow, it's like, your allegations or what you're saying have no ground in reason or truth whatsoever. If anything, they're just bold-faced lies, and um, like just blaming me for stuff that I have, absolutely nothing to do with, or no way. And it's just, it's so important, not to internalize that, or they're going to try to harp on something that, they're going to try to find a weakness that you have or something you're insecure about, and they're going to try to harp on that. And you've got to know, like, not to internalize that or take that personally. Just like, no, it's all reflects 100% on the person that's dishing this shit out and not you. And just, it's so important for you to know this, and to not let it get inside of you. And I think that's a big lesson that I've had to learn in my life. It's like, basically, okay, my sweater is teal colored, and if someone's like, no, you're that's an ugly red sweater that you have on, it's like, well, I know that their their insult has no basis in reality or anything that I should take into account, because like my sweater's not even red, and like their opinion doesn't matter anyway, even if it was, red, or even if they were like, oh, that's an ugly teal sweater. You know what, that's not constructive criticism. That doesn't help me in any way, shape, or form. That's just, you're just saying that to hurt me, and that is it, and to make me feel bad, or make me feel less superior than you, or less or inferior to you, and to make yourself feel more powerful. And that is it. There's no, and that just should be thrown out the window. So if you're forced to stay in a situation where you need to either help take care of somebody that's abusive, or you're in a codependent situation, you can't quite get out yet, just remember not to internalize, or and to protect yourself as much as possible, and try to get out any way that you can. um, I know these times are weird, with everything that's going on in the world, and what we may do, things that we may do to make a living in the past may change, but we're always going to have what we need. And even though these tests and trials are hard, and they seem to be even getting more difficult lately, and coming to a point in your inner and outer world, just stand strong, and stay strong in your beliefs, because really these demons and these ass clowns are starting to fall back and fall out of our lives, and they're getting weaker, and if we've just got a bunch of BS around us, it's not our fault. It doesn't reflect on us. We're just living in a crazy world, and there's beauty beyond us and around us, and nature, and other things that we're meant to discover. So just keep the faith. I hope that this helps somebody in some way that's dealing with this. And remember to reflect on your mother and father wounds. List what they are, and just to make sure you're aware of them, and so they don't play out in other relationships in your life. And namaste. Have a good night. Happy fall equinox.